Welcome to the Hot Rod Podcast with Ron Foreman and Brady Wright. We're the guys who eat, breathe, and live cars. Ron is the president and founder of the Rat Bastards Car Club and a longtime builder of awesome hot rods. Brady is the founder of the Idaho State Hot Rod Hall of Fame, a producer of car shows all across the Northwest, and the builder of the only rat rod ice cream truck in the state.
Hi, welcome to the show. This is number 373. Take a moment to hit the share and like buttons and be sure to subscribe on Facebook and YouTube.
You got it. We got a good show tonight. Kind of cool. The Pharaohs Car Club, one of the oldest clubs in the nation, is going to be with us. Let's bring them in. Well, as promised, here they are. We have Bruce Stern and Ken Boone from none other than the Pharaohs Car Club. And I mean, let's just face it, the Pharaohs is one of the oldest car clubs still in operation in the country, is it not?
It is.
Everybody who's ever seen American Graffiti, of course, knows that was back when it was called the Pharaohs.
Correct.
But welcome, guys. I'm glad you decided to come on. We're going to talk about car clubs, and I don't think we could start with a better club than the Pharaohs. So, I guess, Ken, let me start with you if you don't mind. The Pharaohs is one of the clubs, as I understand it, that has a fairly good structure. I mean, there's rules and regs, and there's officers and so on like that. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but just so that the viewers are aware of what's going on. Which one of you guys, do you guys both hold offices in the club? What are they? And, tell us how that works.
Yes, we do. So Bruce is actually our president right now. Then we have a vice president, and I am the events coordinator, which is about third in line on as things go. We also have secretary, treasurer. Then we also added a couple
board of directors, if you want to call it.
Yeah, they're basically goodwill ambassadors for the older generation of cars plus the newer generation of cars. So we have two people that take care of that on our roster. So
cool. Now, the chapter, what's the actual name and location of your chapter?
So we are the Pharaohs of Spokane, Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
And we are located in the Spokane area.
Yeah.
We have members in the Tri-Cities. We have members in Coeur d'Alene, Wallace, Post Falls, pretty much all the way around.
The surrounding area.
Yeah, and for people who are watching from outside the area, Spokane is right on the border of eastern Washington state, and Idaho, of course, is right next to it to the east. And Coeur d'Alene and Spokane are they're about 5 miles apart, depending on, if you're right at the state line. But, there's a 25-mile radius here where we all do the same stuff, go to the same events, and know most of the same people. Now, there are, I think, two other chapters that are kind of local. There's Pharaohs International. I know I've seen those guys on Facebook. And then there's another Pharaohs chapter. So how does all that work? Do you guys overlap, or what? How does that work?
Well, basically, what's that?
Pharaohs Worldwide as well.
Yeah. So what happened is Pharaohs Worldwide used to be Pharaohs International.
Okay.
Then Wyatt Bowman changed it over to Pharaohs Worldwide. Pharaohs is a worldwide
or car club
organization.
Sure.
I mean, they have clubs, they have chapters in New Zealand and Germany and Australia. Our local chapter here isn't really affiliated with, say, there's a chapter over on the West Coast of Seattle area, Bellingham area. They have their own groups of rules and their bylaws, and we have ours. So each chapter actually makes up their own bylaws and rules, which fit their governing body.
Got it. Well, I know we both have questions. Ron's got some. I've got one. Let me ask a first one, and we'll just kind of, jump in where we can. But one of the things that we started this series to talk about was car clubs in general. And there's as long as there's been guys working on cars, there's been car clubs, and they have a variety of different structures and how they work and everything like that. But the goal kind of is the same, and the main goal is perpetuating the hobby and keeping people interested in cars and going out and driving them and having fun with them. So my question is this: what do you think are the goals and effects of car clubs in general as an effect on our hobby today? Because there's lots of different kinds of clubs. Does it help? Does it hurt? What do you think?
And most of the clubs, a lot of the clubs are trying to go after the younger crowd because, face it, most of us are older now.
Well, yeah.
And we're trying to get the younger crowd more into it, into the older cars. Most of them, as I call them, race grinders, your Hondas and stuff like that. They have those, and a lot of your car clubs frown on them. But you are getting a lot of the younger crowd that are finally starting to come over into the clubs. They're buying like the old Novas. They're buying the older cars finally and starting to come into the clubs. And you've got to keep the clubs going by the younger crowd. That's the only way you can keep your clubs going.
But eventually all of us will be gone.
Yes.
If the hobby's going to continue, then we definitely have to bring in younger people. Ron, what do you think?
So we did. Hi, I'm Ron. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
We have a new chapter, and they're the pretty young fellas. Their idea is there's a lot of people, a lot of folks around their area that have the rice grinders and the older European cars and foreign cars, but a lot of kids can't find. There's not much left in the wrecking yards to try and fix up and try and build. So we're kind of talking about like mentoring one of these kids, and if they are interested in being part of the club, and then by them hanging out and being around, they're going to find one of the members that are existing. They might have an old Dodge or Rambler in the bushes out there somewhere, and try and get them involved and excited about building something like that, because they're not on the wrecking yards anymore. They're in the backyards and the woods,
Correct.
back in the bushes, or in the back of somebody's barn or in a barn. So that's kind of what they're kind of what they're going to try and do. But the young people that is the next evolution of the car clubs, and because we are not going to stay young people forever.
No, we're not.
I
But
got pretty well
every time I get in my hot rod and I turn that key over, it's like a time machine. I'm right back. I'm 16 in my first car, my first drive. It's my
Correct.
time machine.
Yep.
Well, you mentioned something, Bruce, and I want to go back to it for a second. You used the term rice grinders, and a lot of people do.
Yes.
But the future of hot rodding is, let's face it, might be headed in that direction. But hot rodding is about the original definition, which is make the car lighter so that it'll go faster and do something to the engine to make it stronger and more. And you can do that with any kind of car, really. So my question is, from you guys' standpoint, what do you think the future of hot rodding, might be, and how does your club contribute to that?
So,
Would you answer that?
I think, like I said, we've got to get more people involved in the hobby of hot rodding. Back in, I'm trying to think when it was. I think it was in 2021. The Pharaohs amended their bylaws to allow late model modified American muscle cars.
Uh-huh.
So I'm talking Corvettes, Mopars, all the way up to, starting from 89 and up to present. So you can take a 2023 Camaro and be a part of the Pharaohs now, because you can make modifications to those cars. Like you said, make it lighter, make it faster, make it stronger.
Sure.
So that's how the Pharaohs have adapted kind of to that point of making, I guess, the evolution increase to where you're using modern cars, because the older cars, like you said, they're in the backyards. They're not at the junkyards anymore. They're in people's backyards, in their garages, and a lot of people don't want to turn loose of them.
Sure. Well, at least not for a reasonable amount of money.
Exactly.
Correct.
I mean, when
Right.
Ron knows this, and we've all had this conversation 1,000 times. When we were younger, you could buy, a '58 Chevy for $500, and you can't buy the steering wheel for $500 anymore.
No.
Right.
And those cars, like Ron pointed out, they are getting to be few and far between. And if I'm a kid, I got a new member in my club right now who's probably 26. And he's, an enthusiastic guy, but, he's working, he's starting a family, he's got all those things that we've all had, and he's not going to be able to afford a Tri-5. He's not going to get himself, a late model Mustang. That's just not going to be in his. So he might have, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here for just a second. He might have an import. And if he goes to a meet or a cruise in or something like a Cars and Coffee, and he hears people our age, a bunch of geezers, let's face it, um, talking about him and his rice grinder, I'm not sure that he's going to made to feel welcome. You know what I mean? I mean, we all kind of put everybody's car down. We do that with ourselves.
It's banter.
Yeah.
Garage banter.
But my question is, we've got a bunch of young people. We got two, maybe three new generations past us who are coming into the hobby, and they're all about doing it, but they want to get some sort of respect for what they've done so far. I have a guy in my club who has an '84 Volvo sedan, and it's hot. He's done a lot of work on it, and it's a real nice car. It's not American, and but my attitude is, you know what? Bring it. Bring it and come and hang with us and drive it. And you know what? Like Ron said, you may find that, it'd be fun to have something a little earlier, or another muscle car, and maybe something like that shows up. But if we don't let them in at some point, they're going to go someplace else.
They're going to lose interest then.
And maybe the hobby dies. We don't want that to happen.
No.
Right.
Listen, I want to talk about this a little bit more. We're going to take our first break here. We've got a few minutes. Let's do that, and we'll come right back. The Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame is the only nonprofit organization that rewards men and women who actively promote the hot rod community, clubs, and builders all over the state of Idaho. Each year at our September awards banquet, we award a Hot Rodder of the Year, a Young Rodder of the Year, and Car Club of the Year, as well as giving out scholarship money to students in the auto trades programs at local colleges. If you want to nominate an honoree, go to idahof.org, our website, or you can email us or message us through our Facebook page. Ron, you had a question I know you wanted to ask.
Yes, I got a couple half questions. Does your club put on car shows?
We have
Yeah.
in the past.
But we
How do you
haven't.
Go ahead.
We haven't done one in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Strictly because the funding
The funding isn't there
right now.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects of doing, as you guys know, a car show.
Getting volunteers and things
and
like that. Yeah.
venues and the whole 9 yards. So it's very expensive to do a car show, and I don't
Yep.
think a lot of people understand what goes into putting on a car
Yeah,
show.
I know.
Yeah,
Ooh.
well, it sure can be. And there's always that little stuff about how many guys do you need, or how many people do you need to make the thing work? I mean, parking and registration and, trophies and all of that stuff, judges, that's all behind the scenes. You don't see that when you drive your car in and, put up your lawn chair. So
Right.
it's a big deal.
Do you guys like to cruise, or like pick a destination to cruise to, or get together and cruise?
We'll take the cruising. We like to do that. There's one coming up in May 10th, I believe it is. It's through another club. And they're going to do a run from here to Newport, over to Ione, then up over Flowery Trail into Chewelah.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yes.
So how do you pick the person who leads the cruise, and do you rotate the leader? How do you do that?
the other club will have a leader, and they're finally starting to open up to all the clubs. Before it was just for members only, and we used to both be a part of that club, and now they're opening it up to all clubs.
Right on.
I think that is really good.
Well,
I think,
that's the
to be
way-
honest with you, that's the future of the hobby.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah,
It
you
should
can
be.
you can cruise with your own club. That's great. Have your own events, of course. But a few times a year, everybody skate. That's a really great way to do it because first off, it lets people know what your club's all about,
Correct.
Right.
and it also lets you meet some of the other folks that are hanging around. I mean, we love to do that. I'll cruise with anybody. I don't
Oh
care.
yes,
Besides, one of them might have a tool that I need when my car breaks. No, wait,
that's right.
my car would never break down. But
Right?
So just for the folks that are out of the area, this is being done in the middle of the week, just before the 11th, 12th, 13th of April, and there's a big show in Spokane, Washington over the weekend, the Spokane Speed and Custom Show, which is great. And there's
Correct.
several clubs that are going to get together and do a cruise on the way over to the show Saturday morning. So it's just like that's exactly what you're talking about. Open it up to everybody, and everybody has more fun.
Okay.
Fair enough. Well, so I got one other question that we sort of touched on this a little bit, but I want to get a little deeper into it if you guys have any insights on it. Obviously, the future of the sport is younger people, new
Correct.
people, new cars, maybe new types of cars, who knows. So far, I haven't had anybody want to get into the club with a Tesla, but I suppose that's coming at some point down the line. But my question is this: what do you guys do? What's the Pharaohs' kind of overriding thought about encouraging young hot rodders to get into the sport?
Go ahead.
Well, that's actually kind of a difficult question.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just where you're at. So that's a great thing to talk about. Let's take one more break, and we'll come back and kind of wrap this up with some final thoughts. Fair enough?
Great show.
There's a great new family-oriented nonprofit car club in Idaho.
We're the Rat Bastards, and we want you.
Welcome all hot rods, 1969 or earlier, and orphans.
And the rough is enough.
Rat Bastards. Real steel and iron hot rods.
We are the Rat Bastards, and we want you.
We're all about old school hot rods and rat rods.
We get together, help each other build, and cruise like crazy.
Because that's the way car clubs are supposed to be.
Join us for cruisings all over Idaho and Washington.
Joining the club is easy.
A bunch of rat bastards.
Contact us through our club Facebook page or come talk to us at any event.
We have cruisings on the first and third Saturday of every month.
Check out our Facebook page for information.
Email us at ratbastardsidaho@gmail.com.
Rat Bastards!
We're charter sponsors of the Idaho State Hot Rod Hall of Fame and the Hot Rod Podcast.
Rat bastards.
Rat Bastards.
And the rough is enough.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's not what you buy, it's what you build.
It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
It's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
The most fun you can have with your clothes on.
All right, we're back. So we were talking before the break here about getting young hot rodders into the sport, and it's a thing. I mean, that's what's going to keep us going. So, just from the Pharaohs standpoint, Ken and Bruce, what do you guys do to encourage young hot rodders?
That's
You're on.
our two. We've got two basically ambassadors. We got one for new cars, one for old cars. Our new person will go out, look at the car, then look at it, talk to the people, and usually they'll come back to the board, which consists of the president, all of us, and then we'll go look at the car. And
Yeah.
if we like it, if it's good enough, we will accept it.
Right on.
That's pretty good. So then, is there a probationary period for new members of some sort?
No, we do
Okay.
not have a probation.
Okay. So if you guys like the car and you guys like the guys or the girls, they're in.
Correct.
Okay.
To a point. Yeah. We
Point.
like to encourage. So we usually have monthly meetups at like a local restaurant or something. So anybody that's interested in the club, we try and say, okay, why don't you come and hang out with us and see what we're about.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just jumping in feet first. You may not like us. We may not like you. I mean, it's let's get to know each other.
Yeah,
you know, before you jump in feet first. So
cool.
That's kind of where we're at as far as, you know, encouraging new members, young, old, otherwise, is to come out and hang out. You know, we're in the community all the time at different places. You know, all kinds of things. So come out and hang out with us. See what the club's about. See what the people are about. We get to see what you're about. And then we go from there. I mean, it's, you know.
Because our first meetup for the Pharaohs, monthly meetup, is the 25th of this month.
Nice.
Is there a way they can contact you or get a hold of you, or on Facebook or any of the media, so they can figure out where you're going to be if they don't know?
Yeah. So anybody can look me up on Facebook, send me an instant message, or you can look up our Facebook page. It's Pharaohs Spokane Coeur d'Alene, and you can send private messages or send a message through the Facebook page.
Cool.
I usually check at least once a day for incoming new members and questions and stuff like that.
If we have a questionnaire, once they go in there, we have a questionnaire on there that they have to answer. Then all the officers can go in there and they can approve them if they answer all the questions.
Awesome.
Super. Well, guys,
Very cool.
Bruce and Ken, I mean, this is really great. I wish we had more time because this is fascinating stuff. For the people who are watching from someplace else, we are doing a series here on the Hot Rod Podcast about car clubs and how they're, you know, focused on the future of the sport. So I want to thank both of you guys for coming tonight and being part of the show, and stick with us because we're going to do this again next week and for the next probably 10 weeks. With a lot of different car clubs. And if your club wants to be part of the show, you can just hit us up on the Hot Rod Podcast Facebook page and we'll get with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
guys.
you.
That's it for this episode of the Hot Rod Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show, and we appreciate it if you smash those notification buttons too, so you'll know when a new one drops. For Ron Foreman, I'm Brady Wright. This has been the Hot Rod Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.